in this peace wave and peace work, peace building has their own responsibility, has their own mission also to share with people of other nations living under oppression, living under occupation, under wars, under conflict. So we need to hold accountability for duty bearers at all levels, the national, international, and regional levels, to commit to their obligations, to keep peace and to promote peace as well, and to promote the respect of human rights, and in specific to the international community to commit to the peace agenda and human rights agenda that was set collectively, and the standards of these human rights were agreed upon to be the right of everyone, every human being on earth, without any prejudice, without any discrimination on any basis. So it's time to stop all of these violations. It's time to human rights respect, and to achieve self-determination for all nations, because this is a right of all nations, and there should for the futures of the whole generations. There should be justice and consideration to all these power dynamics, because when we talk about militarization, it shouldn't be the fact that because group of people is not militarized, is not armed, can be easily oppressed and can be deprived of their human rights, of their right to live in a peaceful life. And here comes the obligations and responsibilities of the international community, of different mechanisms to put an end to the impunity of these perpetrators, to the impunity of these who are depriving and breaching all of the international law, breaching all of the rights that are granted by default to all human beings. I would like also to ask civil society organizations and actors and the human rights defenders to keep up this mission and to advocate not only for their causes, but also for the other causes they share with, because it's a collective responsibility, it's a collective mission. And of course, we can be stronger when we stand together. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to hear from all of you, and I'm really looking forward to be working with all of you and to hear the voices that you are also trying to elevate.
Thank you so very much, Amani, for shedding light into some of the recent events in Palestine, focusing on the need for the right of self-determination of peoples around the world, and for providing us some hope as well, especially for the younger generations to make some change here. We are down to our last few minutes of this segment of the Peace Wave, and we have one more speaker, so I will move on to them. And that is Miss Mariam Hamaidi. Again, please correct me if I'm saying the names wrong. And she will be speaking about the Sahrawi Youth Against Occupation. Mariam, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm online. So thank you. First of all, I will take this opportunity and thank all the organizers of this Peace Wave event. So I'm Mariam Hamaidi from Africa's Last Colony. I'm participating on behalf of Sahrawi Youth Against Occupation group. We are working to highlight our just cause, as well as to break the media blackout on Sahrawi people who have been suffering from the injustice of occupation for more than 50 years. I and my group members have created videos explaining the question of Western Sahara issue from cultural and political aspects. So we want you to watch them by your hearts, not by your eyes. From this place, we would like to say that Sahrawi people don't demand charity, they demand their legitimate right to freedom, which will get one day. These people who have been fighting with their women, men, and children, despite the failure of the international communities and the silence of some nations, will continue on their freedom path. So I don't want to take more of your time, so let you with the following video, and thank you for your attention.
Western Sahara, known as Africa's last colony in the modern era. The area of Western Sahara is 260,000 kilometers. Its inhabitants are called Sahrawis.
For centuries, Sahrawis were nomadic tribes living in the Saharan desert. They used to travel freely across the desert, searching for the best pasture lands and water for their goats and camels. In 1885, at Berlin Conference, Europe divided the African continent. Each European country received its parts, and Spain took the area known today as Western Sahara. Africa was divided by improvised borders. Those who once were free nomadic tribal families became prisoners of artificial boundaries and suppressed by a colonial power. Spain, likewise the other colonial rules, began to exploit the local natural resources. In 1963, Spain discovered the largest phosphate reserve in the world. For decades, Sahrawis peacefully coexisted with the Spanish rulers, but in 17th, nationalist movement arose across Africa. Sahrawis began to feel that Western Sahara was their land and their nation.
In 1973, a group of Sahrawi youth commissioned by Sahrawi people established the Popular Front for the Liberation of Sagi al-Hamra and Wadi al-Dhahab, called the Polisario Front. They adopted the armed struggle for Spanish colonialism.
Back then, the United Nations was involved in the decolonization process of all African countries. Spain was forced to leave Western Sahara and began to negotiate independence with the Sahrawis. But the Moroccan King Hassan II claimed that the territory was and will always be a part of Morocco. In 1975, as a Spanish dictatorship Franco was dying, while Hassan II organized the Green March, invading the Sahrawi territory with 350,000 civilians and 25,000 soldiers. Meanwhile, the Moroccan regime, supported by France, signed the Madrid Tripartite Agreement with Spain and Mauritania, with the purpose of dividing Western Sahara. Spain handed over the administration of Western Sahara, but never relinquished its sovereignty. The Polisario Front continued its war against the Moroccan occupation. During this war, the Moroccan occupation used many internationally prohibited weapons supported by France and Israel, such as phosphorus and napalm bombs, to kill and exterminate the Sahrawis in many massacres.
In 1981, supported by US, France, and Israeli occupation, Morocco began to build a 2,700-kilometer continuous wall of shame, which includes more than 8 million of bombs, and divided Western Sahara and Sahara people into two separated parts.
As soon as the Cold War was over, the US decided to end this war. In 1991, both parties approved a peace plan organized by the UN with only one condition: that a referendum will take place in which of the Sahrawis should decide the future of Western Sahara. The Moroccan regime trained Moroccan settlers on Sahrawi language, customs, and cultures to include them in the Sahrawi census. Up to date, Morocco hasn't let the United Nations sponsored referendum to take place. For the last 30 years, The US and France have always supported Morocco in the UN to avoid the peace plan to be completely achieved. The situation has led to the status quo. Half of the Sahara population wait for a peaceful solution in the refugee camps in Nigeria, while the other half remain in the occupied territories under Moroccan occupation.
Almost 2 years ago, Morocco violated the ceasefire agreement signed in 1991. The war between Morocco and Polisario Front began again. It continues until now. The United Nations hasn't yet taken any serious position regarding the right of Sahrawi people to self-determination, which has been waiting for more than 30 years, and the Moroccan occupation hasn't been condemned despite its violation of international law.
So we have to apologize. We ran a little bit behind schedule. We had another video of Western Sahara that we would have loved to show, but we are at the limit of our 2-hour block for now. However, we will share the other video as well by email to all registered peoples, so that you'll have the opportunity to watch that and learn more and stand in solidarity with the people of Western Sahara. So thank you very much to all of our speakers for this 2-hour segment. I think we covered a large range of issues. A special thank you as well to Mariam here at the end. And now we have 2 hours left of the Peace Wave, one final segment in which we are again moving westward to cover Central and Eastern Europe, as well as parts of Central and Eastern Africa. I will turn the floor over to Lisa Clark, who will lead that section in just 1 second. But first, we will stop our recording and